Hey, so I know that it's exam season right about now, and so that means, lots of revision, exams, and I know that some people are still writing assignments. And of course, if you're maybe doing degree or master's or PhD, probably writing your dissertation or your thesis. So I've got some amazing tools that will help you with whatever work you've got to do, with whatever big assignments and dissertations you've got to do. But even if that's not you right now, you can still save this video and come back to it for when you do start writing some assignments and dissertations next academic year. So I'm going to share some amazing tools and websites that I used while I was in education and that you can also use to help you get through and to make things a little bit easier. So first up, we have MyBib, which is an OG website. It used to have a different name. I think it used to be called citethistforme.com, and then they got bought out by MyBib or whatever happened. So the formats changed a bit. But anyways, I know that when we're writing assignments, we're taught, use APA referencing or Harvard referencing. And I just couldn't get my head around it. I didn't really give it a full chance to learn how to do it just from visually learning how they're meant to be formatted. I didn't. And so I came across Cite This For Me, as did everybody else around me while I was in my undergrad. So this became a normal part of like writing assignments. So MyBib is an amazing website that helps you find papers, and then it basically formats it for you in either APA, Harvard style, AMA, and a few other styles. And it does it automatically for you, and it creates a bibliography for you in alphabetical order. I think you can also change the order if you want it in date order or something like that. So it copies and pastes for you easily. So you don't have to like drag and select everything. You can just click a little copy button and it copies it for you. And then also, like I said, you can search up books as long as you've got the DOI or something else or the ISBN. Even if you can't find your paper on there, which does happen, you can also manually enter it and then it puts it for you in the right referencing style, whether that's APA or Harvard, which are the two most popular ones, I believe. So this will save a lot of time in terms of keeping your bibliography in order and making sure that you don't forget any papers or anything that you've referenced. And you can also copy and paste citations. It has the reference for you and the citation. So you can also copy and paste the citation into your assignments as well. So MyBib is an OG and so handy and so helpful. It saw me through my undergrad and my master's. So let's move on to number 2. So for this one, I'm going to share a few. The overall point of the ones that I'm going to share is that they basically read your papers for you. If you have a lot of papers to read, especially when you're doing like a dissertation, a thesis, or just a huge assignment, you probably have quite a lot of papers that you need to read and cite. So the following essentially read the papers for you, they summarize it for you, they highlight key points, and they separate it and basically summarizes everything for you. So you don't have to read everything back to back, page to page. You can skim read your papers, but this one basically takes out all the key points for you. So they're all slightly different in terms of the information that they give you once you've read the paper. And some of them provide a catalog of papers that you can search on their website, but some of them you have to upload a paper. You can choose which website or which tool you want to use. There are so many of them, and I'm not going to list all of them now, but I'll leave them in the description box for you guys to choose from. The main ones that I remember looking through and trying to use was SciSpace, which is an AI research assistant. It explains the paper, answers your queries, and provides you with the context you need. So with this one, this is the one where you can upload papers or you can search their catalog that they have on their website for papers. The other one that's also quite popular is ExplainPaper, which is slightly different because you can't search the papers. They don't have a catalog where you can search for different papers. But what you can do is upload a paper that you already have on your device. And then what you can do is highlight text that you find confusing, and then it explains it for you. So like I said, there's quite a lot that are emerging, especially because of AI. So there's another one called Illicit. I'm not going to go into detail, but you can look them up for yourself. So at number 3, I've got Grammarly or PaperPal, but mainly Grammarly because I've actually used Grammarly and I still do to this day. So both of these are great for improving sentence structure, spelling, and punctuation overall. I've never used PaperPal, but I do use Grammarly. I use the free version of Grammarly though. However, Grammarly does tease you with like some of their pro features that you get to use like 3 times a day or 4 times a day. And it is really, really cool and really, really helpful. I can't lie. I've got the plugin on my laptop, so different websites, as long as I'm typing, it's watching and it's suggesting. And it's like, I think you should put this and you forgot to add this, or maybe there should be this. Your punctuation here is missing, or remove this, you've duplicated a word. Like, so you could get the pro version, which is awesome, absolutely awesome. It's literally like autocorrect, but on steroids. Like I said, I've not used PaperPal, but it's got similar features. I'm not sure exactly what the differences are, but you can have a look and decide what works for you. So that's tool number 3 that you can use. It is amazing. So the next tool is for those who need to find research papers. So if you're writing, once again, dissertation or big assignment, whatever it might be. And of course, in psychology, in general counseling, you always need to cite somebody. You always need to reference somebody. So this tool will help you find papers that support what your point is or the point that you're trying to make. So the website that does this for you is called Consensus. It's basically a search engine for research papers. It's like Google's search engine. You type a question, does exercise improve cognition? And it will give you a general consensus from a number of papers that it feels are relevant to that question. It's not going to give you like thousands and hundreds of papers, but it will give you some of the most relevant papers related to that question. And even those papers will be graded in terms of their relevance. So I think there's like green, orange, and red in terms of like how relevant or useful it is to you. It then gives you the key findings, the conclusions, and then a list of papers that you can read that relate to that question. I'm going to put, I think it was a tweet that I saw a while ago, like when I was writing my dissertation, and I sent it to my peers in our group chat because I was like, this is so funny. Like, it's really annoying that you have to always reference stuff that might even be common sense, and you have to cite somebody who said it in a paper. So this website is really good for that because, like, you know, this thing is true, you know that this is fact, but you have to find somebody who said that it was a fact before you can write it and put it in your paper. Because if you just put it in your paper without citing somebody who said it, then it's not a fact, even though we all know it's a fact. So essentially what this website does is get rid of the headache of having to do all of that. I think this one is an honorable mention. ChatGPT. Like, of course I'm going to mention ChatGPT because everybody knows what ChatGPT is now. It's a household name, okay? And you know how ChatGPT works. And if you don't, I'd say get to know because honestly, it's very helpful. Do not use it to write your entire paper. Do not use it to rewrite your paper. Do not use it to cheat. Like, don't make it do the work for you. You still have to do the work and you should still do the work, okay? I think ChatGPT can be very helpful for certain things, maybe asking for feedback, asking for improvements. You could ask it to mark your work for you. And sometimes maybe if you're struggling to reduce word count, you can maybe ask it to filter out maybe stuff that might not be as important or relevant to your question. ChatGPT is helpful in a lot of ways. Even sometimes maybe you're struggling to find the right way to word something. Maybe you're using the same word over and over again in your assignment. You can just ask ChatGPT, like, what's a word I can use instead of this? Like, just little things. So yeah, of course, ChatGPT is great in different ways, but please use ChatGPT responsibly. So next up, I have something for those of you who may be doing anything to do with qualitative research or writing any qualitative piece of work. With qualitative research papers, there's going to be transcribing involved. Transcribing is very, very tedious, it's very long, it's very boring. And even though it's not as mentally tasking, it's just a very long process, like ridiculously long process. So if you have to transcribe qualitative piece of work, that's 2 features might be really helpful. There's Otter.ai and Microsoft Word Transcribe. And I did mention Microsoft Word Transcribe in my video about my dissertation writing process. So those 2 can be very helpful. I've also used Otter.ai, but I prefer Microsoft Word Transcribe. I think it's a bit more clear and it catches on words a bit better and it's just smoother in my opinion as opposed to Otter.ai. But you can try both of them and both of them are for free, but I believe Otter.ai does have a paid version and it has some kind of limitations a bit. So my preference is Microsoft Word Transcribe. So that's for those of you who might have to transcribe stuff like I did when I was doing my dissertation. So let's move on to the next tool. So this is good for those of you who maybe struggle with planning or organizing, writing your assignments. And in my previous video, I did talk about strategies to help you with your workload. And I kind of did talk about how to plan and organize it a bit better to make it easier for yourself. So some other stuff that might come in handy, there are quite a lot of apps and websites for planning and strategizing with essay writing specifically. So I've never used them because I don't really struggle with planning and organizing. But 2 that I found that sound quite good is Notion and Obsidian. These have been created specifically for students. So they help with organizing research notes, planning essays, and creating a structured study system. So this is not just your regular organization app or website, it's specific for students. And apparently Notion is especially really, really good for building assignment planners or research databases. So I think these are 7 great tools that you can utilize to help you and make life a bit easier for yourself as you're doing your assignments. But there are so many more that I came across actually while I was planning this video. So if you'd like me to do a part 2 comment tools in the comment section, and I will make a part 2 with more tools that would make your life so much easier. But in the meantime, if you're struggling with your workload and it feels like it's all a bit too much, be sure to watch the video that I made on managing your workload while you're studying to become a counselor. Good night, good day, and goodbye.